So now coming up with our last panel discussion, and the topic for today's panel discussion is building the ultimate digital customer base, strategies that drive growth and loyalty. All right, so everyone please take a seat. I would now like to introduce once again our moderator, Dr. Hitesh Bhatt, Director, Marketing and Communications, Retailers Association of India, Editorial Director, STOrai. Please put your hands together and welcome on stage our moderator. Also, Dr. Hitesh Bhatt will be joined by our esteemed panel of experts. So let me introduce them to you. Our first panel member for the last discussion is Mr. Avadut Hinge, who is the Associate Vice President, Global Customer Success, Route Mobile Limited. Please give a huge round of applause for Sir. Mr. Nikhil Bhushan, Chief Technology Officer, Tata Starbucks. Welcome on stage, sir. Our third panelist, Mr. Nishant Nair, Vice President and Head of Marketing, Kaya Limited. Please welcome on stage, sir. Our fourth panelist member, Prashant Bokal, Group CTO and CISO, Finquest Group of Companies. Please give a huge round of applause for sir. Also, our last panelist member, Vinod Kapote, Head IT, Trent Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together at a collective round of applause for a distinguished panel and for our moderator. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the last panel of Retail Technology Conclave. As discussed in the morning, this is the 19th edition of Ritecon, and it's my pleasure to host this panel on building the ultimate digital customer base, strategies that drive growth and loyalty. At the onset, I would request all my esteemed panelists to introduce yourself, and then we can, take the discussion ahead. We start with Vinod.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Vinod Kapote. I head IT for Trent Limited. We have brands like Westside, Zudio, Star Bazaar, more than 800 stores in India, and recently the first international store in Dubai, the Zudio Dubai store we opened. Working with Trent for almost 15 years now, and look forward for this conversation.
Hi, good evening. My name is Prashant Bokil. I am heading IT for the multiple brands like Reed & Taylor, Digsham, and so on. So now we have started up with the Reed & Taylor as a new venture, ready-made apparels. 10 stores are already open, and we are coming up with 30 odd more stores within this financial year. Looking forward to them.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikhil Bhushan. I'm the CTO for Tata Starbucks. We've been in India since 2012, and today we are a little over 450 stores pan-India, and look forward to have this interesting conversation today.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Avadut Hinge, and I lead the customer success team out here in Route Mobile. For those who missed out on the presentation given by my colleague Sanket earlier, Route Mobile is a world's leading cloud communication platform. We basically help brands connect with their customers intelligently on various mobile channels like your SMS, email, voice, and of course the new age channels like WhatsApp, RCS, Viber, Facebook Messenger, Instagram. So you name it and we have it. Thank you.
Hi, good evening all. I'm Nishant. Disclaimer, I'm the only non-tech guy on the panel, but I work for Kaya Limited. I head marketing over there, and we're a 20-year-old brand. We're spread across 75 centers in the country. We offer everything in skin, hair, and body. Looking forward to having some enriching discussion with my co-panelists here today.
So Nishant, since Nishant,
Okay, hello. So Nishan, since the mic is with you, I thought I'll start with you. Turning clicks into commitment. Now, this is something which is extremely important for all the marketers today. That clicks to aa jate, but commitment nahi aata hai. You know, in real life also, we get many clicks, but commitment is something which we feel there is dearth of. How can retailers effectively nurture casual online visitors into loyal repeat customers today? So even loyalty is the second part, but I just want to touch upon how can that click uh, be converted into a commitment that is a sale. How do you see this problem, and what do you feel the solution to this should be?
Sure, thanks. I think it's a wonderful problem to have for sure because, see, everyone talks about website visitors, which is abundance and probably few for other people, but essentially clicks gives you an idea of what the customer is, right? So you can essentially build a persona, you can essentially look at their behavior, you can, besides just also looking at where the IP is clicking in from, so you get more data about the customer. So I think any sort of a web behavior is essentially the first window to understanding your customer better. I kind of talk and think a lot about how do you go from a first party to a zero party sort of environment, and looking at this aspect helps you bridge that gap to start with. So, essentially you can have behavioral attributes, you can have persona attributes, which then fit into your loyalties and your CDPs and your customer personas as well. And that's how we treat it at our organization.
Avdut, what is your view on the same?
Sure. I think we've seen a paradigm shift in the way marketers or the brands are kind of conversing with their consumers. Just to take a simple example of the coupon codes, right? Earlier we used to send coupon codes or let's say SMS, email. The consumers used to pick up the coupon codes and then redeem it in their journey on either website, app, or maybe in store. So what used to happen is there used to be a lot of drop-offs between, picking up the coupon codes from channel A and then, punching it in channel B, right? Again, there was a lack of personalization that we saw in this approach as well. But now what we have seen, working with a lot of retail brands, there's a lot of personalization that's happening, right? Retailers are making the brands of the consumer journey or the purchase journey very simple, right? And I'm working with few of the retailers who are kind of doing end-to-end purchase journey on these OTT channels like maybe WhatsApp and RCS, where starting from your lead engagement, right, giving up unique coupon codes which are personalized in nature, right, till the redemption of coupon code, till giving out the catalogs, and effective checkout by using the native payment option seamlessly, right, has helped them convert these clicks into commitments. So net, I think making the consumer journey for purchase very easy, very simplified on one singular channel, along with a touch of personalization, is probably one of the ways of converting these clicks into commitments.
Okay, you did use the word personalization, so let me pick up from there and ask Vinod about with the vast data that is available at our disposal, how do you see personalization at scale, and how can you optimize the data to increase the growth and loyalty, which is our subject matter today?
Sure. Hitesh, I think personalization is something that obviously is required for a customer to feel special, to know that we understand what she is looking for or what she is actually trying to search for. Having said that, a lot of times we do a lot of data analytics which is overwhelming for the customer itself, and that becomes a problem at times. So while personalization as such is a fantastic tool to make the customer get what she wants quickly, but if you cross the boundary of the personalization where you make it overwhelming for the customer or make it intrusive for the customer, it becomes very, very difficult to actually gain the loyalty that you have actually designed the entire personalization for. The customer suddenly feels that she's exposed too much to that particular brand or to that particular website that she's interacting with, and eventually would realize that, okay, maybe I would want to look at it one more time. But yes, personalization as a tool is a fantastic tool to work with. Make sure that there are enough options that are available to the customer and she is able to choose what she wants and what she's looking for. But very, very important that there is a fine balance that is drawn out between what the customer is wanting for versus how intrusive you want to be with the customer. So very important to consider that point. While as a tool, it is a fantastic tool to look at.
Nikhil, taking this point ahead, one is of data and other is of personalization. So we'll talk about data, and Starbucks is all about experience. How do you see data? From what lens you see data, and how do you use it for your personalization?
Sure. So, in fact, there are two parts to it, right? So, one is data, which can be like, let's say as simple as the transactions which come through, right? Over there, there is no individual involved, but with the volume of transactions that we have and the geographies we have, there's a lot of analytics that runs, and those are non-personal, giving you the trends, giving you the consumption patterns, maybe a bit of demographics also. We have intelligence systems which, again, without violating any of the personal information, we are able to maybe make use of them. Right now, with all this data, of course, the very first thing as a brand and as an offering is we ask the customer for an opt-in, right? So that is when someone either joins our loyalty program or is willing to maybe share some more information to get the personalization experience. Now, the minute you opt in, then yes, I mean, then is when my journey of personalization begins, where maybe I can track the persona again, in terms of what the past consumptions have been, what are the typical let's say combinations of food and beverage or maybe merchandise the person has been consuming, and then of course give something relevant. So a very very, I would say, fine line in let's say personalizing with consent and without consent is and especially in the new era of DPDP where we are living, it is very important to have that the first opt-in verified and validated, and then obviously it's just like any other data learning mechanism, right? Whether it's use of AI or just the traditional business insights platforms that we have. I mean, you can churn out a lot of smart I would say offerings for the customer at that point.
Prashant, your views on data and
Sure. Um, I agree with Vinod that the balance has to be there, because there is a very thin line whenever we are communicating with the customers with the help of existing data. And I would like to add one more thing, that whenever we are analyzing particular historical data and creating kind of personalized promotions, that might not be the appropriate or the actual fact of that matter, because at that time that customer picks that particular promotion because that was the only thing available on that time. It is not mandatory that he fall for that promotion. He might have fall for the product. So to analyze it has to be in a different way. It is not mandatory that it is just because of that promotion or the what we can say a CDP kind of analysis gives us that kind of promotion and we have applied it. So it is way different. We need to understand
so
that. As
Avdut,
well.
how do you look at this? It's a problem or an opportunity, whatever it is, but how do you look at this?
Well, I mean, if you overuse it, it's problem. But ideally, it definitely is an opportunity, right? I mean, as you rightly mentioned, that you need to kind of understand the consumer intent, the reason behind why consumer is purchasing a product, and then work on the personalization. That becomes your opportunity. But if you're over personalizing it, as Nikhil mentioned, if you're over personalizing it, then that communication kind of doesn't become accommodating anymore.
Now, other area is building trust. I think loyalty will come if you have trust. If you don't have trust at between the brands, between the customers, even in our own lives, trust is the core. Now, how do we build this trust is where the the challenges, and there are brands we can see many have built a trust, and over a period of time the customer loses that trust also. So my question to Nishant would be, from a trust perspective, you are in the service industry, Nishant, and trust is extremely important. That if I go to Kaya, then I'll be getting that kind of a service, and I'll be coming out a refreshed person. So how do you build that trust?
I think what you mentioned is a very relevant experience in retail perspective, right? because trust is built over years, over experiences. And to kind of maintain the trust, which ultimately is another facet of loyalty, you have to maintain the same level of experiences at all time. You can maintain same level of experiences when you're transparent in your approach, right? And when there is continuity of what you has been offered, besides just uplifting it with the trends and with what is relevant at that point in time. So for us, we also try to look at our customers over the years, right? We've also had customers who've been with us throughout the journey, right? We've still had customers who've been with us for about 20 years. We've had customers who've just joined in the ecosystem, right? But we treat them individually rather than putting them all in one cohort and say, okay, these are buying these services. So that's one part of it for us, right? So we try to look at their history. We try to look at what would be an adjacent service to them, which they can require depending also in, so for example, whether it's a female or a male, what could be the next possible service for them? Are they also relocating here and there? Are they traveling enough? Since we have a massive retail expanse, we kind of map their journeys as well. And interoperability of our services are allowed at Kaya. So that gives us that flexibility, right? So it's not like that you go to Kaya Bandra, you've bought a service and you cannot go in Delhi and use it as well. So we try to leverage the fact that the experience remains the same. And I think that's how we maintain the trust and the NPSs.
Let me ask Vinod this question about Zudio. All of you shopped at Zudio? Yes? There is no person in this room who has not, or on the stage who has not shopped at Zudio. Iska raaz kya hai? Because this topic is about loyalty.
First of all, Zudio doesn't have a loyalty program, so probably that is one of the reasons.
See, so good learning. So for all the marketers, to have a loyal customer, please don't have a loyalty program.
Think counterintuitive, actually.
Just
But having said that, I think one of the, and this is my personal view, frankly, having the right product at the right price and with the right promise. When I say promise, the quality promise at the price that the customer is wanting to look at. I think that has resonated with the customers a lot. And probably that is something that the customer is looking every time she walks into our store, into a Zudio store. Having said that, it's not just Zudio, it's also Westside. Westside also is, I would say, still also a value product. Maybe the price points are different, but the value that Westside gives at the price point that it sells its products obviously also has a certain level of loyalty that it brings in. While Westside has definitely a loyalty program associated with it, but that's how I think it works. More on a general front, I think for loyalty, Hitesh, one very important term that we should also keep in mind is the fact that there has to be absolute data transparency to our customers, right? The customer should know what are we doing with her data. She should be very, very clear on what are the actions that we are doing with the data. She should be able to have complete control of her own data. A lot of times this data gets abused, and there are so many times that data gets over to multiple hands due to lack of regulations in India, especially, that is very, very prominently seen. But if you are able to build that trust of data with the customer, saying your data is safe with me and you are in complete control of it, I think there is a flavor of loyalty that comes along with that too. A customer, if she knows that she is safe in our hands, because the data actually today is both direct and indirect. Through a loyalty program registration, she gives us a lot of information. Through indirect data on clicks and other areas of other channels that she interacts with us, be it Instagram or anything else, she again shares a lot of data indirectly with us. She has to be confident that her data is not going to get misused. And that's another trust and loyalty that is actually getting built.
Nikhil, what's your take on this?
Sorry.
Nishant,
Just going back to the point that loyalty programs should exist. I just wanted to bring to the floor that Indigo for 17 years did not have a loyalty program. Indigo Airlines, even they have come with it, which directly hits their bottom line, but they couldn't live without it also.
So this is what it is. It's a business decision. If Indigo for 17 years did not have a loyalty program, and now if they have come up with one, we saw a lot of pros and cons being written across the social media why they have come with a loyalty program after 17 years, in spite of having the #1 position today. But I personally think that this is being done taking in mind the future competitive scenario rather than the current immediate scenario. And when I say immediate scenario, it's maybe a year or two. But I think to build a long-term loyalty, they may also have thought of it. So, that we'll also ask one day Indigo guys also. But coming back to you,
So,
Nikhil.
when it comes to trust, I mean, like, here we are talking of two things. One is trust of data, I mean, which of course, like, typically is the topic, de facto topic when we like to talk of, okay, how secure my personal data is, what is being used for, do I have the consent of like, making that use? But then, of course, at the starting point is the trust of the brand. Now, very simple example, when like, when Starbucks says we sell the world's top 3% Arabica, right? I mean, that's a data point, and like, unless people really believe in like, what we are saying, they will not have the type of like, stickiness or the like, loyalty built around. And fortunately for us, I mean, personally as a brand, I mean, like, we have best of two, like, most ethical and old companies, right? Whether it's Tata or it's Starbucks, and the JV with them. So like, a lot of it started with like, foundation of like, having the trust built in the brand, and then trust in like, trust and transparency. I think both go hand in hand in all the things that we do. So now whether it's like, whatever we say in terms of, let's say, like, the larger good in terms of sustainability, or whether it's in terms of, let's say, personalizations, whether it's, again, like, any marketing that I want to do, I mean, there has to be like, that consent and the customers like, willingness to really like, to take that journey with us, right? So obviously, and a very good example I can give is of subscription services. Now over here you are paying for maybe a beverage where the price point is not the issue, right? So we don't give deep discounts that if you prepay the order or not. But the very fact that people know that, okay, they are going to be sticking to this brand and they will be using it more often as a convenience, they are willing to like, pay and subscribe maybe like, 12 beverages upfront. And again, that shows a lot in terms of like, how once you are trustworthy, I mean, then other things really fall in place automatically, right? I mean, it's you can build a lot more, like, once you are there in that space.
Prashant, your views on that.
Yeah. So basically, I would like to add few points onto this. Brand value, brand face makes difference. Yes, that is one point, one aspect. Yes, but the customer experience, what he gets in the, suppose it's a brick and mortar store, so what he gets, that particular personal experience within that stores, apart from the product, the treatment, how he is getting, that also drives customers to share their details with the cashier or cash at the cash counter for the loyalty purpose, because that again gives you a personalized touch or personalized treatment. So I think that is also a very big point to be noted here.
I think the point is well taken. What Nishant also spoke about, and Nikhil spoke about the subscription model. We have got another one or two areas to cover, and the third area that I want to talk about is adopting to digital first expectations. Now what is happening is, as consumers are interacting on social media, and they are apart from the initial days it was word of mouth, but today it is the word of screen. Okay, and when what the screen shows is what it is there. And most of these guys today, all of us and the younger generation for sure, are digital first. Now keeping that in mind, adopting to the digital first expectations of the consumer, whether he is 6, 7 or 60, 70. Slowly and steadily post-COVID, the digital transformation in the industry has happened. The overall digital topology has changed. Having said that, if you have to adhere to the expectations of a consumer who is, as I again, as I told and I'm repeating, 6, 7 or 60, 70 is expecting that I'll be online and getting that same experience. What are the major challenges and impediment if you are not there, that you may end up losing a consumer? So if it is a Kaya or a Starbucks or a Zudio or a West Side, or for that matter any of our Dick Jams or Reed and Taylor. So I want to know your views on this. We can start with Mr. Nayyar.
So I think there is a downside and an upside to both. While the absolute precedent is that the brand now needs to be more communicable, approachable, right? That's how we've evolved. And again, I speak more from the marketing lens. So I speak from that perspective that, expectation is that if I'm a user and if I write, tweet, or DM Kaya, they should respond to me with a solution, right? That's the expectation that customers have in their minds. Now, it also becomes problematic because you never know the gravity or the authenticity of what is being spoken about. Back in the days, I think this model was very much confined to a toll-free helpline number, which was you call somebody, then you're in a queue, koi uthata hai, nahi uthata, you don't know. So experience is kind of, distraught over there. And I think digital lets you kind of bridge that gap, make it more authentic, at least be communicable back to the consumers. But having a degree and having a specific lens of understanding what they're asking for, is it genuine enough, and then giving a solution is how we like to address this problem.
I think well said over here, right? Because again, I think the retail stalwarts will probably be able to give more precise information. But talking from a consumer point of view, right? Consumers want to be heard, right? And they want to be heard by their own convenience, right? Hence, it's very important for the brands to have an omni-channel strategy where, as you mentioned, right, they can be customer at the age of 6 or maybe 60, right? A consumer of the age of 6 may prefer interacting with the brand on WhatsApp. Someone at the age of 60 might just want to walk in the branch. So it's very important for the brands to have the omni-channel strategy where a consumer is able to reach out to the brand of the choice of their channel.
So one very important aspect is also going digital for the sake of digital, right? I mean, that
Absolutely.
would be a disaster.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Sorry to interject. Is it now at this stage or at this during these times? Let me put it that way. Digital is imperative.
So I was just getting there. So, for example, our own brand, when we started in 2012, obviously we had some presence on websites, and the app came much later, and the social media even very recent in that context, right? Compare that to the new age, let's say coffee houses which are coming up, which first built their website and then their store, right? So there's a different paradigm, right? So the Tata Starbucks team, we did not go for let's say, for a website or the digital journey in isolation. We did a lot of, I would say, we spent a lot of time and energy in figuring out how my omni-channel is seamless. So whether I'm browsing on my app or I'm at the reception looking at the menu and interacting to the barista, that continuity of experience has to be there, and that would make it successful. Not having that digital space, I don't think it's a choice today, which is rightly said. So, I mean, a lot of traditional brands, who have probably opted the latter, where they thought that, okay, their store or chain will survive without going digital. I think most of them have already perished or are close to perish. Irani cafes are some classic examples, right? Very, very personal, but yeah.
But Irani Cafe has their own nostalgia.
It does.
And see, all
And
of
you're
us-
missing out, right? Because they did not keep pace.
So how many of you go to Irani cafes? 1, 2, 3, 4. What about Mugdha? And what about Hardik? I know these names, that's why I'm taking the names. Okay, good. Now, those who have not gone to those Irani cafes, they can try once for the experience part of it. But the younger generation here is always, we will always vouch for the Irani coffees, right? Right. Keeping in mind, because we all love Starbucks, because we have got a Starbucks and we also go to Kaya, so we use all your brands, Pesticide and Zudio. But coming to now, before I come to the next
Hitesh,
point.
sorry, I just want to add one point on this Irani Cafe thing, right? Now, Irani Cafe, how many stores have now opened up with the name of Irani Cafe and are now operating via Zomato's, right?
Good.
The kind of business that they were getting via footfall versus the business that they're now getting via Zomato. There's a huge difference as well.
So the loyalty the name Irani Cafe gets, it is unparalleled, unmatched. So what you can do, and this is just a suggestion because I don't know whether it is trademarked or not, but it's a generic name. You can start a cloud kitchen in the name of an Irani Cafe and can get what people are doing. So you are encashing on the loyalty or the hard work done by the brand years back, decades back, generations back, and taking the fruits of it today. Having said that, I totally agree with your point, Avdut. Prashant and Vinod, your inputs on this quickly. Then I have a question again for uh, one of my favorite coffees, not this guy Starbucks. Because
Sure.
I have remembered one question.
So there is no second thought about this. We are not in 2003 or 4. 2003 or 4, there was a choice whether should go digital or not. In 2024, there is no second thought. In fact, I'll just share a few my experience about the Reader and Tailor. We first built our static website and then we opened our first store. So this was the what we can say strategy we have started, because store locator was there and we were just adding the stores as and when it is opening. Before the opening, we are launching. Today we are opening up with this store, this location. Please visit and so on. So this is the way, or this is the style we now have to adopt.
So I think the digital space is currently a very, very crowded space, right? Everyone wants to go digital. Everyone wants to take the screen time of a customer or get the mind space of the customer. And the customer experiences it also across multiple apps and the websites that the customer is actually interacting with. Eventually, what sticks into the customer's mind is the fact that what simplistic experience or what intuitive experience she has got. And actually, that's where the repeat happens. She wants to go simple, she wants to go real, and she wants to ensure that she is finishing the process faster. And that's all about making sure that the customer is experiencing digital in a very, very simple manner. I mean, just to give you an example, a customer who's browsing on a website, eventually going onto an app, eventually turning out into a store because of the digital influence that she is into, all of that is possible if she is really enjoying that experience. And that is what digital is expected to create. Create a customer experience that is enjoyable for the customer and not make it difficult or not make it complex for her, and that's where I think is the main juice behind this entire thing. That if we make it simple for the customer with use of digital technologies, AI, ML, we were talking in the speaker lounge some time back. We speak of AI and ML so much. But if you realize there is a lot of ML work that we actually do than just AI. I mean, AI is probably 10% of the overall AI ML work that we eventually do, because we believe that there is a lot of machine learning that can happen and actually convert the knowledge for us.
We'll come to this machine learning point next. I had one, so I'll have to ask this question to Nikhil. Tab tak I can't, stay silent. So allow this, and this is a combination of personalization, of data, of digital and omni-channel. So Nikhil, let's assume for 1 minute, I'm a Starbucks fan. Let's assume. Now, I have to travel from Mumbai to Delhi, and it's a summer time. The moment I land at the Delhi airport and I'm going towards Gurgaon, I get a message from Starbucks, and this is a hypothetical makeup that I'm doing, that Dr. Hitesh, welcome to Gurgaon, and your cold coffee is available, awaiting at so-and-so outlet in Gurgaon with a special price. So let's say if 100 or X is the amount, I am getting it as a special price. So I get 2-3 things out here. I am being treated as an individual by the brand. They are customizing something for me for the loyalty. So personalization is happening, customization is happening. Pricing, they are giving me a special price or an offer where it makes me feel special plus loyal to the brand. I may or may not go. Now the question is not that I may or may not go. Question to Nikhil is this possible?
In fact, as we speak, I thought you already had that journey. So, no, it is very much. In fact, it's been in the works to an extent. I think already for some time now. So, if you really see our application, right, and that's where again one is with the consent, because like you are downloading an application, you are agreeing to certain information being shared, and again, on your device, it asks you, are you okay to share your location and get notification? If you say yes, what you're saying is absolutely what we do. I mean, so I know that, okay, you were from one city, airport, geofencing, or maybe railways. I know, okay, you're traveling. I know, okay, you've traveled maybe 500,000 kilometers, obviously in 2 hours, so you have taken a flight. And, well, the seasonality, time of the day, all those are the generic inputs, and I can certainly delight you with that.
Thank you very much. Awaiting. Okay. So we'll meet next time to confirm this. But this is the thing that today's consumers want. I'll be more than delighted. I may not use that offer, but then Starbucks becomes uh, my favorite in terms of in my good books. Now I may be using any XYZ brand. It's not about that. But this is what same goes with if I have to. I'm catching a flight from Bangalore to Delhi.
So Hitesh, sorry if I mean, like, just to, like, put the other way around, if you don't consent, it's spooky, right? You don't want the band to be tracking you, what I'm doing.
So yeah, this is what the data privacy, even the last panel did speak about it, and all of our esteemed panelists have spoken about the data privacy part. I will not give my consent. I will, as a individual, I will not give my consent. But eventually, if I am getting that experience, or if it's the need of the hour. So need of the hour mein itna is not that urgent, but even if it is a need of our hour, for example, I'm going from Bangalore to Hyderabad and I need a white shirt. I may go to one of these brands and say, okay, yes, I want a white shirt to be delivered at JW Marriott. So by the time I reach from Hyderabad airport to the JW Marriott airport, my white shirt is there at the reception. Now this is what the true omni-channel is all about. And answering to what Nikhil is talking about, I will give my consent if I trust the brand. It's not about XYZ brand, it's about any brand. So this is what the trust factor is all about, and this is what even our topic suggests, that strategies that drive growth and loyalty. I can't be loyal without the trust. So trust is the core part of it. So thanks for answering that. It is possible, and this is the way our experiences will go forward. As and when this, you can create hundreds of offerings to one individual. So one Dr. Hitesh Bhatt can get hundreds of offerings at the price, time, taste, city, so on and so forth. So all those permutation combinations can create 100 offerings for one Dr. Hitesh. So that's about it. Now coming back to the ML part, how important, you said 90% is ML and rest is AI. Can you throw some light on that, Vinod? And then we'll ask our other panelists also.
So a lot of AI ML work currently is focused on efficiencies, Hitesh, and a lot of work while AI, Gen AI has been spoken about, there is a large scale adoption is still on the cards for everyone. It's not yet there. For a large-scale adoption on how the use cases can be unlocked. So a lot of work is currently being focused on repetitive tasks, on efficiencies that can be brought in, and that's where the machine learning comes into picture, and that's where the entire focus is on right now. Organizations like us are trying to get those benefits out through ensuring that the work that is repetitive in nature is actually being done through some bots being deployed and some equivalent technologies that can work with us. But beyond that, an actual AI usage in retail, an actual Gen AI use case in retail at a scale which is large, I am not sure whether it is still available in the market today.
Any other views, please? Prashant.
Yeah, I'll absolutely buy his statement, because see, what we are doing currently is we are just churning out the historical data, that is a machine learning, and we are just getting insights about the same. But true AI, where are we implementing, apart from the chatbots or kind of smart WhatsApp kind of solutions? We are not using any generic AI also, apart from the just creating the sentences for the customers. That's it.
And just to add, very recently I was at one of the events, and again the question was thrown to me: how is how can you use it in Starbucks, a Gen AI, right? And well, I mean, of course, there were a lot of discussion, and people were giving good ideas about and I said the same thing. I mean, whatever our panelists are speaking, nothing I find generative over there, unless you tell me, okay, this is a new type of a beverage I'm creating, just by taking inputs of, okay, how the consumptions are happening, and that comes in something unique. Possible, yes, but as of now, we are not in that space. I mean,
I think I'll just add to Prashant's point. I think he rightly pointed out that AI is being used in your chatbot journeys and WhatsApp, right? And that's what we kind of facilitate with the brands, right? And AI is primarily used with brands who have got large amount of SKUs available with them. To give an example, right? We're working with one of the jewelers in Middle East where basically they want to kind of have a search optimization by, let's say, a consumer just typing, "Hey, I want a blue heart-shaped pendant," right? And I throw the relevant results rather than browsing through the entire SKUs, right? So accurate, giving of SKU. I think this is where I see AI can be used more optimally.
I have two things to add on to this. One is the pure play AI part. Since we're a lifestyle skincare brand, so we were given this task to make a skin analyzer sort of a tool, right? Now the question is that there are a lot of brands which are in this space, not necessarily in the clinic space, but also in the cosmetologies and cosmetics. A lot of them have already done it. The task that we took upon ourselves was to create a skin analyzer for not a Caucasian skin type, but an Indian skin type. So all of the other analyzers that have been floated around have been generatively put all the images across the world from, right? They pulled the images from there, and hence they don't give a lot of synchronicities around the skin type that is an Indian skin type. So what we did was when we were creating this tool, we only looked at Indian skin type. That was data for about 2 years of our own customers, and hence the efficiency of the tool was built from that perspective. Another aspect of this, which we kind of see a good opportunity, is how we can deploy Copilot for the frontline folks. Maybe that is something where they can be enabled more, again, from understanding what the customer is, right? Rather than going through 10 different tabs of looking what was the past history, what was the last visit, what is the spend, so on and so forth. Let Copilot probably do it. And it kind of, gives you that small snapshot, throws it to you, okay, this is this, and maybe this is what the person will like. So your pitch effectively becomes more crisper and sharper.
Good. This is my penultimate question, and this is about impediments in implementing real digital transformation. We'll start with Vinod. What are those areas, difficulties, challenges where you feel hinders the real digital transformation with the retailers today? And this can be your personalized experience, professional experience, or what you see across. So we can then sum it up.
Sure. I think one of the biggest hindrance that comes along is organizations don't grow any technical architecture instantly. It grows over a period of time. And because it grows over a period of time, the adoption of digital technologies, that have been used over multiple years versus the newer technologies, that bridging the gap on that becomes a big challenge. And that, I think, is one of the biggest issue that we see when we try to adopt digital technologies. It essentially means that you have to revamp your technology probably every 3 years, assuming that every 3 years the technology is getting obsolete. But it's very, very difficult to do so. Prashant?
Yeah. So basically, as you rightly mentioned, that all organizations grew in a phase manners. So we always have a legacy systems with us, and we still follows with the legacy system. So transforming into a digital platform becomes a very challenging because we cannot absolute any of the legacy systems.
So this is sorry. So this is what is it? So old versus new. जब तक old नहीं जाएगा तो new नहीं आएगा. It's something
it
like
is
that.
not like that.
But is it a mindset challenge? Is where
No,
I'm coming from.
It is not mindset challenge.
So in fact, one very important aspect is also the cultural change, because see, when you're doing digital, right? I mean, how are you going to position it? Is it a competition to your existing stuff? Is it augmentation to your existing stuff? Right? If I go and pitch it where I'm going to make my existing people's life simple, adoption is much quicker. The minute I try to position it, okay, you know what, a robot is coming and I don't need anyone, then of course there's a pushback.
Okay, so various areas and aspects and challenges of adopting new technologies. Avadut.
I think even before consumer adoption, I think it's very important that we are adopting this new technology internally, right? Because it also becomes very challenging for us to kind of implement this internally as well. Another challenge I see is you have got plenty of data, right? And how fast you're able to turn around that data into meaningful insights and take action on it is also a very challenging part. Getting that single eye view of that data on one single dashboard is kind of becoming a challenging, and I'm sure that's an area of opportunity as well.
Nikhil.
I think I agree completely with what's been said, but I think the answer really lies in the fact that look at the brands that are there on this podium versus the brands which are D2C brands. So I think largely it's the DNA of the organization or which era they've probably come into and how they've adapted, right? D2C brands look at it from tech first and then beyond. But I think coming of age brands like us have been dabbling through a lot of things, which is adaptability and adoption of tech. And I think data is scattered for everyone everywhere because there are multiple sources of it. So yeah, I think.
Final question to all my panelists is, what are those 3 mantras or areas that you feel will be the key to success for digital transformation, for growth and loyalty? So we can start with anyone. Your 3 mantras, if you can, succinctly tell about it, that would be nice.
Sure. I think just summing up what I've already spoken about, I think being transparent to customers is the absolute moment of truth, right? Just being very, very being there for them and showing them, going an extra mile as well. I think a lot of people or a lot of brands look at it also as what is a unit metric, but I think sometimes it's more important to win over the customer than let go of that person, right? So being transparent. Second is loyalty, definitely. I think as we grow and go forward, a lot of brands are going to be competing for the same mind share. So making loyalty more effective is one way of addressing all the customers. And third would definitely be, adopting more digital first technologies, getting lesser frictions for a customer to come back into the system is definitely the 3 things for us.
I think omni-channel, right? I think that's definitely one of the essence, right? Because you need to be there where your consumers are, right? If you wait for the consumers to be on your channel, you're already late in the game. Second is, of course, personalization. I think the more you personalize, the better, the results are. Take into consideration not over-personalizing this. And third is, of course, making the consumer journeys as simple as possible, as effective as possible. Again, if you kind of create a lot of steps between your pre-purchase to purchase, you will see a lot of dropouts and unsuccessful conversions.
So yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind is, of course, keeping things simple, right? I mean, as long as they are simple, people will, certainly automatically come to your brand. Another very important aspect, I think, is consistency. So when I say consistency, it's not only in the product, the location, the brand, but the channel as well. So whether it's in-store, whether it's virtual, that consistency has to be maintained. And last but not the least is again trust and transparency of what you're doing in business.
So what it strikes to my mind is from brand perspective, 360-degree view of a customer is a very good thing to have, and a personalized experience to the customers of the 360-degree again. So that is a key factor for the thing.
So I think the first and foremost is, as Nikhil also mentioned, trust and transparency for the customer. I think that's the most important one. She should have complete trust and complete transparency on her information with us. Second one, I think, is more towards a data-driven loyalty for the customer, where you are able to get the loyalty not just by doing, obviously you have to have the right product with you, but also data-driven loyalty, which is very, very important to gain the confidence of the customer. And the third one, if I may say so, is causing a digital influence using the omni-channel proposition that you have for the customer. That is also very important because obviously the customer doesn't differentiate between what she's seeing online versus what she's seeing offline. For her, it is a common journey, a brand journey that she is going through. And creating a digital influence for her to probably create a walk-in into a store is like a win for everyone. So yeah, those 3 points.
So the verdict is out. The mantras for success is here in front of you. And if you ask me, I would like to sum this up. Uh, how are we going to get the ultimate digital custom, building the ultimate digital customer base, and what are the strategies that will drive this? So the to sum this up, we'll have to be transparent in what we are doing. We'll have to go that extra mile to satisfy and ensure that true satisfaction to the customer happens. For that, that extra mile is the word. That means you'll have to go beyond the call of that duty, that okay, this is something which we have to give extra to the consumer, and that can be in the form of service, technology, price, promotion, whatever it may take. We will also have to look at customer first technologies rather than from an organization perspective, and no organization will do that, but ensuring that the whatever the technology that we are using is truly seamless for our customer, because we have seen all kinds of technologies for various kind of customers, whether you are small, big or medium, whatever, in various categories. Every technology may not fit the the business model or the ethos or the culture of the organization. That's where the technologies fail. It is not about the technology, it is not about the organization, it's about the culture, thought process, and ability to incorporate new technologies. Personalization has come up a lot. We have discussed about personalization. I think that is something which is an imperative. Omni-channel proposition, true omni-channel proposition is again something which today's retailers will have to build if they want to build loyalty. And that true will be digital, physical, phygital, omni-channel, seamless omni-channel is something that we will have to do. One very strong point that has come out here today is that of a consumer journey, and before that the word comes is simple consumer journey. I think there is no rocket science. If I can go online, click on the button, get it done, uh, payment, checkout in couple of seconds, that is what the seamless journey is all about. Every website does this, but not every website is seamless, and that's where it is. And this is just one example. Similarly, it goes in various stores also. We have spoken about experiences, in-store experiences a lot, but I think this is more applicable to digital as well. Consistency. How will you build loyalty? If you are not consistent, you will not be able to build loyalty. So whatever, and that's what Prashant said, ki first we build the website and then we started building the physical stores ka thing. Because if you are consistent digitally and physically, if both of them match, then only the trust will happen and subsequently the loyalty comes in. 360-degree view of customer. This is an excellent point. How much you know, if you are looking at a customer only from a digital or a physical lens, it is not going to happen. But unless and until you don't have a 360-degree view, which includes the personalization, data privacy, so on and so forth, that will give me a full picture of what this person is all about or consumer is all about. And then I can devise my strategies accordingly. Trust of the customer is the key, and we have to build that trust through all these things. Data driven loyalty program to sab karte, but if you and I have seen many times people just a cookie cutter approach. But if you are doing data driven loyalty, it will lead to a personalized loyalty and more effective and efficient. We are talking about unified journey of the customer and digital influence in today's world, which is an imperative. So all these were the mantras by our esteemed panelists. If you want to win the consumer, if you want to build trust and loyalty. With this, I would like to thank all of you for sharing these wonderful insights with us. It was pleasure having you here today with us at RetailCon 2024. Thank you.